You are a very powerful, energetic being. You have all the power you need to create the experience that you desire in this reality, whether that's more love, whether that's better relationships, whether that's better health, better financial situations. You have every resource internally to make that external reality real for you. The problem is you've likely been misusing the resources that you have. And one of those resources is how you're using your attention. You see, I was ruminating on this video this morning and I thought to myself, your awareness, our awareness collectively as human beings, is our magic wand. Florence Shin said, your word is your wand. But I would argue that your awareness is your wand. Whatever you're casting your awareness at, whether in your mind or in external reality, is what's going to intensify the experience of that thing for you, okay? And so one of the most important components to shifting your energy and therefore shifting what you perceive as reality, because the reality that you're experiencing is a byproduct of the energy that you are embodying. One of the biggest components and the starting point often is how you're placing your awareness on things, i.e. what you're paying attention to. So we're in my beautiful new home today. Obviously MX is not here to help with the art. I see some of you in the comments have been asking me if I've taken art lessons, how my drawings have gotten so good. It's not me, you guys. It's MX in the studio. This is my current drawing capabilities. And I'll be honest, Alex is here helping me set up. He understood immediately what I was going for. So at least it's fit for purpose. It doesn't matter if it's not super artistic. Essentially, as you're running around like my guy here, in your experience of reality, you say you have all of these potential experiences, okay? All these orange little circles are potential experiences. This could be 50K per month. This could be having a loving relationship. This could be having a terrible relationship. This could be getting in better shape. But your awareness is focusing on a limited number of potentials depending on what's happening in your reality and what's happening in your consciousness. And so wherever you're placing your awareness, whatever you're placing your awareness on, that is what you're going to perceive in your reality. So let's say all of these circles represent different potential experiences. You can only perceive of the experiences that you are putting your awareness on with your attention. Those are the ones that are going to grow and expand and eventually materialize into reality for you. You can't experience anything that is outside of that which you're casting your attention upon and casting your awareness upon. And the reason for that is, it's quite a deep spiritual reason, but you here as the observer, you are not just this physical body. You have an energy field all around you. You have beautiful life force, spiritual energy flowing through you at all times. So you are not just your physical body. You are not just the thoughts that are bopping around in your head that you're tuning into. You're the awareness of those things, okay? You can observe the fact that you're thinking a thought. Therefore, you are not the thought. You can observe the fact that you have a physical body. Therefore, you are not the physical body. You are the observer of those things, okay? This is the I am awareness. That is your essence. So every single one of us has this inner spiritual self that is pure conscious awareness. That is a fractal of source, God energy. And that's the life-giving energy that exists within each and every one of us. So when you direct that energy at a potential, it gives life to that potential. We can even see this in the observer effect in quantum mechanics. It was shown in that subatomic particles are influenced by the conscious observer and by the intention of the observer. And so we know from studies like this, we know from spiritual texts, that our consciousness and the material world are intricately connected. And the beginning of us wanting to influence the material world, it starts with us actually being able to focus on the potential that we desire. Because most of us, and if you've clicked on this video, this is probably you, most of us are running around and our attention is gone unconscious, it's gone on autopilot. So it's placed on things that we do not prefer. We have no control over our attention. Our attention is actually controlling us because it's on autopilot. We're autopilot thinking about how much money we don't have. We're autopilot thinking about all the things that we don't desire. We're autopilot distracted by all of these things that aren't really giving us anything. And that's actually dictating to us our inner experience. It's dictating our emotional state. And that's what's causing us to have a particular experience in reality, not the other way around. So most people are looking at things in external reality and they don't know why they're getting the results that they're getting. Well, it's always an internal misalignment, and it starts with where are you focusing your awareness? Where are you placing your attention? The phrase paying attention is really intentional. Nothing in this life is free. So every time you pay attention to something, that thing gains access to you and to your mind. It immediately starts to become a part of your experience. When you pay attention to something, it enters your mental plane. So we know you exist on a spiritual plane, a physical plane, and a mental plane. When you pay attention to something, you're entertaining it on the mental plane, and it's only a matter of time if you sustain attention on something that it will start to form materially, because your life force energy is the life-giving energy of this reality. And so I want you to start realizing how powerful you are so that you can start to use this magic wand that is your awareness to your advantage. And this is something that I actually realized pretty early on in my journey. I was thinking about starting YouTube for a really long time, and my old identity was very much in the way. And all of a sudden, I was sitting one day procrastinating once again. And I dug in and asked myself, why can't you just start? And then that limiting voice came in that said, that's not you. It's not who you are. And then I thought, no, if other people can do what I want to do, and I thought of all of these really successful YouTubers, I was like, what's the difference between me and them? They are human beings with creative life force energy and working bodies and capable minds. I am the exact same. What's the actual difference between me and somebody who is a successful YouTuber? And the answer that I got was, they are casting their awareness differently. They're paying attention to very different things to what I was paying attention to at the time. And therefore, they're using their time, their energy, and their resources entirely different to how I was using them. And so I want you to get into your head that anything that you desire truly is possible for you. You have enough energy in your body to fuel an entire modern city for a week. You have the energy to do it. You have the potential to do it. That's not the problem. The problem is how you're using that energetic potential. And so that's what I'm going to be walking you through today. And immediately, as we begin, I want you to start asking yourself, what have you been focused on? Take stock, not to criticize yourself, not to shame yourself, but to understand where you're at. So you might not realize how much of your potential you have been wasting by allowing your attention to be stolen by the things in your environment rather than consciously deciding where you're going to place your attention and therefore your energy. So first, let's talk about why you may have been misplacing your attention or where you've been putting your awareness. So one of the biggest things, according to that's stealing our attention is scrolling. Because in order to materialize a new outcome in reality, you need to place your awareness on it for enough of a period of time. And I see this a lot in coaching and clients in my community. People are like, I did the action once, I did the meditation once, I visualized it once, I focused on it once, I changed my reaction once. Why didn't my reality change? You need to have sustained and prolonged focus on what you desire in order for your frequency to start to shift, okay? When you do something like scrolling, if you're scrolling through short form content specifically, you start to lose the skill, the actual skill of maintaining sustained attention on something. When's the last time you picked up a book and actually read it for a considerable period of time? Even watching movies nowadays. Movies, it's hard to sit through a 2.5 hour movie, because our attention spans are getting shorter and shorter and shorter, which is the very thing that you need in order to exercise the superpower that is your conscious awareness. You have to be able to focus on what you prefer. So here's also how you know that your consciousness is one of the most valuable resources on the planet. These companies, these social media companies, which I know it's very ironic, I'm on YouTube and I'm saying this to you, but these companies are profiting billions off of your life force conscious awareness. Because without it, none of these apps, none of these platforms would exist, okay? You paying your attention to the content on these platforms is what's generating billions and billions and billions. Apparently, content is actually more valuable now. It's the most valuable asset on the planet. It's overtaken land, okay? And so you can see in knowing that your conscious awareness is the most valuable resource on the planet. And the thing that's causing you to misplace it is you've been allowing corporations, other people, and just your programming to decide where you're going to place that attention rather than you deciding it for yourself. So scrolling is one thing, and under that we have social media, TV. And the second reason why you misplace your attention is because of your programming. When you wake up in the morning and you open your eyes, there's like a second before you remember who you are, what you do, and what to focus on. It takes about 2 seconds, and then your awareness floods into your mind and goes down your neural pathways that have been programmed into your mind over your whole life, okay? So you have different networks for different areas of your life. You have a network for your career, you have a network for your finances, you have a network for your relationships, and those networks get fired on autopilot because they're well used and they're familiar. So I give this analogy sometimes, I think it's really helpful to remember this. It's almost like you're standing in a forest, okay? And there's certain pathways in that forest that have been cleared because they've been used so much. So if your awareness, maybe you think of yourself like an orb of light, that's your conscious awareness. It wants to go down the easiest pathway, the most accessible one. So it's going to go down the one that is well trodden. So let's just say that well-trodden pathway is you making $5,000 per month and struggling in your business. And the pathway you want to go down is you making $50,000 per month and thriving in your business. The pathway of $50,000 per month and thriving in your business, you've never used it before. You've never thought that way. You've never focused that way. So you've never actually walked down that pathway. What you're focusing on constantly is the fact that you're making $5,000 per month in your business, is the fact that you're in lack. And so that's on autopilot. Your awareness autopilot goes down that pathway. So that's how your programming dictates your attention. What you've been placing attention on for years and years and years is autopilot, where your awareness is going to go every moment of every day, unless you become conscious and you take the reins of your awareness. And the easiest way that I do that with people is I teach them meditation. I talk about this specifically in module 1 of the community. But when you meditate, you're actually essentially, rather than trying to go from halfway down the familiar pathway and teleport over to the new pathway, what you're doing is you're coming all the way out of the familiar pathway, the familiar thought pattern, and the way that you're focusing on something. You're coming back to observer state. And then you can decide what to focus on from there, which is a whole lot easier than trying to jump from one experience, one focus, to an entirely different one. So I bring these two to your attention just so you are aware as to what happens when you go on autopilot. You will succumb to distractions that are easy for you to put your awareness on, and you will go down your default networks that have been programmed into your brain on what to focus on and how to pay attention to it. Here's a fun fact. Infinite intelligence doesn't care if you like or dislike something. It just cares that you're focused on it. So a lot of us are focused on things that we don't prefer. And we think that by trying to pay more attention to it, trying to figure it out. For example, if you have a problem, you keep thinking about the problem, you keep looking at the problem, you keep dwelling on the problem, and what does that create? More problems, okay? So this is, infinite intelligence just says yes. So if you're focusing on, I have this problem, I need to fix this problem, you will continue to materialize a reality where you have a problem and you need to fix that problem, okay? And so it's a really intricate dance that you need to start playing with your focus, because what you focus on compounds. And something as simple as shifting your attention from the problem to the potential solution is what will change your whole experience and the answers that will be presented to you. Because remember, your awareness gives life to whatever you place it on. For example, if you're focused on how bad of a boyfriend your partner is, how annoying he is in so many different ways, you will find that somehow he gets even worse. He gets even more annoying. And then something will happen in reality that will confirm that focus point to you materially. If instead you were to shift your focus to all the ways that your boyfriend is great, to all the ways that he's amazing and helpful and loving, then you will start to notice more ways in which that is true. Then eventually you will have that reflected back to you in something happening physically. It's all a matter of focus. Remember, you're casting your awareness at a potential. That is the game that we're playing here. We are basically just God experiencing itself. We're casting our conscious awareness at different potentials, and they're materialized into physical form through our sustained attention on these things. So I'll give you another example of this. Let's say you're in debt, right? I used to be in debt, and I used to focus on the fact that I was in debt, and I used to stress about being in debt. I used to look at it every day. I would try to calculate how I was going to fix it, how I was going to change it. And none of that actually changed my situation. What changed my situation instead was taking my creative consciousness, my awareness, and putting it on what I wanted to experience, which was not debt. It was my income expanding. It was me earning more money. It was my bank account growing, okay? And so I put all my attention on that outcome. And then I started getting more ideas that resonated with what I was placing my attention on. And then that started to become my reality. And very, very, very quickly after that, I got out of debt. Okay, why? Because I stopped focusing on it. So in the book Parallel Universes of Self by Frederick Dodson, he speaks about attention like this. And he talks about essentially how you are basically this lighthouse that's casting your light on these different objects. And then you're like looking at the object saying, wow, this thing is so amazing. But the only reason you're experiencing that thing is because you've casted your light on it in the first place. So you see, all these infinite potentials for our experience exists. It's just a matter of what are you paying your awareness to. So if you have no control over your attention, over your awareness and where you're placing it, essentially you're wasting this resource, but you also won't have the capacity to focus your attention for long enough on what you prefer. So a lot of people, they watch these videos and they learn a lot, but they don't know how to implement it. This is one of the difficult things about implementation that people find, is this moment to moment shifting of your focus. It's like a dog with a bone, right? When you start focusing on something that you don't prefer, your body starts to have an emotional reaction. Where attention goes, your energy flows, as in your emotions start getting involved. The idea starts to expand. It starts to become a physical experience. You start to get more thoughts that merge with this thing that you're focusing on. Next thing you know, you start acting out something that's in alignment with what you're focusing on. So your attention can often come before or after your emotions, your thoughts, and then your actions. And when you're focusing on something that you don't prefer, one of the most difficult things to do is to actually take your awareness and to put it on something that you do prefer. The moment you can actually do something like that, so let's say you're dwelling on something that you feel you're worried about in your relationship, or something you're annoyed about with your friend, and you're dwelling and you're dwelling and you're dwelling, and you realize that you're dwelling, you realize that you're basically putting a magnifying glass on this particular outcome, and you're going to facilitate the materialization of more of that outcome the more you focus on it. The next point is to take your awareness and to put it on what you prefer. That action of shifting your awareness to what you prefer, that is a skill. It's something that you need to teach yourself to do. And it's something that will allow you to actually start controlling your reality. It's something that not a lot of people can do. And no amount of watching content, no amount of reading books, no amount of learning things is going to be able to replace the ability to actually do that. So one of the best things you can start to do to start using the magic wand of your awareness is moment to moment catch yourself when you're paying attention to that which you don't prefer. Realize you're giving your creative life force away. You're allowing something you don't prefer to gain access to you and your resource. So take that energy back and put it on what you do prefer. What you'll see when you actually go and do this in your life and in your reality, and I actually challenge you to do this week, you'll see that the thing that you don't prefer, we kind of are scared that it's just going to explode if we don't keep paying attention to it. But what actually happens is, as soon as you take your conscious awareness off something and you put it on what you prefer instead, the other thing that you don't prefer just starts to fall away on its own. It starts to resolve on its own. It starts to just dissolve out of our experience. And you'll see this. If you have a perception of somebody and you have a negative anticipation of meeting them or something like that, if you shift that, you'll notice that your interaction with them is totally different. It's the same for everything. So I invite you to actually test this, because this is one of those tools to mastering reality that you have to gain physical experience in. You have to actually implement it to see that it works and to see how powerful your attention really is. So that's key number one. I'm terrible at using the whiteboard today. That's key number one. So if we're talking about how to master your attention, that will be step number one, is moment to moment. All right, the second thing to start mastering your attention, and therefore mastering how you're directing your creative element, your conscious awareness, is maintain your focus. I'm going to give you a visual for this. Let's say you've been focused on X. You've been focused on how unhappy you are in your business. And the thing that you desire is Y. So let's say what you desire is actually to feel amazing in your business. What you desire is to feel like you're thriving in your business. And so you have to actually focus for long enough that it overrides the old thing you were focusing on. You need to be able to sustain your attention on that which you prefer. If you place your attention on something for like a second, it's not going to get you very far. But if you place your attention on something for a long period of time, you're pouring more and more of your life force energy into this idea, this thing, whatever it is. And it starts to grow and grow and expand. This is what happened to me. When I started this YouTube channel, I realized that I needed to actually study more and put more time and focus and energy into learning about what I wanted to speak about and learning how to make better videos. And at first I would read like a little something and I would just think about it for a little while and then I make a video on it. And the video wasn't that good. Why? Because I didn't let enough energy accumulate by putting my attention on something for long enough for it to actually gain depth and actually really take root in my identity and everything. And so one simple switch that I made is I just started reading more of what I wanted to speak about. I started studying more. I started spending more time paying attention to the things that resonated with the new version of me, with the YouTuber version of me. And so you've got to be able to sustain your focus in your new way of being for long enough that it overrides the old one. And then the third, these aren't really in sequential order, like you can do these in any order, but the third component to mastering your attention is to switch from horizontal to vertical. I spoke about this in my Matrix video where I go into more of why your awareness is basically getting hijacked by all of these things around you. But because of the way that the world is set up, we're basically trained to be in reactive mode to everything going on in external reality and in consumption mode. We are programmed to consume. We're programmed to take our valuable consciousness and hand it over to all of these things that feed off of our consumption, okay? Because they profit from our consumption. And so you've got to be aware that when you're doing that, essentially you're casting your attention horizontally, meaning there's no depth. It doesn't move up or down. You essentially just stay on the same level in your awareness and you're just moving side to side. So what this looks like just autopilot reacting to things in your environment constantly. Somebody cuts you off when you're driving. You autopilot let yourself react impulsively. That is an example of using horizontal awareness. Let's say somebody calls you and you start focusing on how annoying they are or how negative the situation is. That's another example. Autopilot, you're reacting to the circumstance and you're paying attention to the things on autopilot that your ego has just programmed you to pay attention to. That's reactivity. And then the consumption is very obvious. It's just you're putting your awareness on things around you and you're consuming them with your senses without actually, and here's the key point, internalizing. Placing your attention vertically is where you start to create depth, is where you actually are able to grow in your awareness. What that means is placing your attention, taking it from outward and tuning it inward, okay? So the moment that you go actually within, The moment that you put your attention within you is the moment that you disengage from your program, from your ego, from these distractions outside you, and you reconnect with the awareness and the infinity that is within you. So this vertical use of your awareness by going within, this is where growth happens. This is where real ascension in your state, in your awareness, in your identity, in your perception can actually happen. By being introspective, by going within, by reconnecting to the God life force energy within you, by disconnecting from all these distractions, by observing, by contemplating, by processing. That inward turn of your attention is probably the most valuable gift you will give yourself, because you're going to realize how valuable your energy is. As soon as you start tuning into your energy, you start paying attention to your inner world, that's when you actually start to realize any blocks that are going on in there, any misperceptions that are going on in there, and anything you need to change internally. And that's when your external can change, because your external reality is simply a mirror reflection of your internal reality. So you need to go within to figure out any misalignments that are being represented without. And I'm going to share with you guys a little challenge. You can let me know in the comments if you're going to do it. And before we finish up, I want you to just reflect a little bit right now. Again, I want you integrating this. I don't want you just watching videos for the sake of watching videos. I want you casting that attention within you and actually seeing, what do I need to change within? I want you to ask yourself, what have you actually been focusing on lately? What have you been paying attention to? What thoughts have you been occupying that are not serving you? What things have you been worrying about that are not your business to even worry about? What have you been trying to control that you can't even control? What situations, what problems, what have you been paying your attention to that is no longer serving you? What media have you been consuming? What people have you been around that you've been paying all your life force energy to that is giving you nothing back? Because this is the beginning point of you taking the reins of shifting your energy. If you don't stand guard at your awareness, at where you're placing your attention, then you're going to be allowing all of this stuff to gain access to you that's going to drain you of your life force energy, and it's going to stop you from reaching your full potential. Your attention is basically the gate to which information gains access to you and gains access to your subconscious mind. And once your subconscious mind is programmed, that dictates your entire perception of reality. And so you want to start guarding it with your life. It's the lens through which you're experiencing reality as a whole. So what have you been paying attention to? Ask yourself that first. And then once you've made a note of that, I want you to ask yourself, what have you been paying attention to that is not serving you, that is draining you, that is distracting you, and that is keeping you stuck in a state that you don't prefer? List them out. And then the next thing you're going to do, this is one of the best things you can ever do for yourself. You can make this longer than 3 days. This is just what I do with everyone in the community, and they find this incredibly life-changing. But anything that you've written down that you've been paying attention to that is no longer serving you, make a commitment. Write on a piece of paper. Make a commitment to yourself that you're going to do a detox from these things completely for 3 days. So you might want to get a flip phone and get rid of your phone completely. You might want to delete all your apps. You might want to cut out certain people. There might be certain things that you need to put in place in order to actually remove these distractions from your reality. But this is going to give you such a head start on mastering your attention. Because yes, in the moment, you will learn to redirect your focus. You will learn to be able to sustain your attention on what you prefer, and you will learn to inward turn. But to kickstart it, it is so beneficial to actually just set yourself a challenge to give up all of your attention stealers, all of your attention drainers, because what you will find within just 3 days is that you have all the energy you need. You have all the power within you to create what you actually desire. You've just been leaking that power out to all of these things that don't serve you. Let me know in the comments if you do this. Let me know what you're going to be giving up for the next 3 days. It's actually Lent today, so this is really good timing. Let me know what you're going to be giving up for the next 3 days or the next 40 days, who knows. Let me know what you're hoping to gain from this. Let me know what you're going to be replacing these things with. So this is what I do in the community. So if, for example, you're giving up watching TV, you might replace that with reading a book that's going to help you grow and expand your mind. If, for example, you're giving up complaining and gossiping, you might replace that with going in your journal and redirecting your focus. Whatever it is, just have a little think about the thing that's been stealing your energy and your attention and what you're actually going to replace it with. Leave it down below in the comments. I want you to check in before and after and let me know the difference in your energy. If you've been running around on autopilot, giving your power away by paying attention, putting your magical awareness on things that don't serve you, you're going to feel an immense amount of relief, more than likely, when you come back home to your energy and you realize you've got everything you need inside you. Before we finish up, you guys, look what arrived. Oh my gosh. I put up a post about this a few weeks ago, but it only just arrived and I just wanted to shout you guys out. I've been manifesting this. This is literally like my dream. I need to define my next vision because this was my vision for so long. I used to draw these plaques with my name on it on a piece of paper and like keep it propped up on my desk. So to actually be holding this plaque is unbelievable. It means the world. I'm so beyond grateful that this is my life, that this is what I get to do for a living, that I get to share this space with you guys. I cannot believe there's 100,000 of you guys. There's like 130,000 now. That's just like, my brain can't even comprehend that. You are just healing me. Being on this journey with you guys is healing me. It's expanding me. It's growing me. And I'm so grateful for all of you. So thank you all so much. This is particularly special because when I started YouTube, I really didn't know if anyone was going to resonate with the way that I thought about things or the way that I spoke about things. So it's just crazy to see it here that more than 100,000 of you resonate, which means for you guys, if you feel like you're alone on your journey like I often did, you're not alone. There are over 100,000 people that get the way that you think about things if you're on this channel and if you're a subscriber. So I just think it's beautiful and yeah, I'm beyond grateful for all of you. Oh, and also shout out to Alex and MX from the studio. Alex didn't want to get in the video today because he didn't get to fix his hair. But shout out Alex and MX for all the help as well in the studio. It's really given me that support that I needed to structure everything, to just have a better environment and to make the videos even better. So shout out you guys as well. That's all for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you all in the next one.